means that we want to set the policies and then influence the decision-making tables. But we can't do that if we don't discuss the details. And before I call Fatu, I would want us to think about this question. Where does the conversation for food security start from? And then where does it end? It's a question that I want us all to ponder over. So, Fatu, are you ready? Okay, so Fatu would come in to set the agenda for today, set the tone, what we are supposed to do, what we are supposed to look out for, and then from there, we move on to the very next thing that we have on our agenda. So please, with an applaud, help me welcome Fatu to give us the introduction.
Good morning, everyone. Again, good morning. Can you hear me? Yes. Have you all eaten? Good morning, distinguished guests, partners, and fellow delegates. My name is Fatma Tamarong, and I've been the one communicating with you for the past 1 week, 2 weeks. It's been a long time. It's been a long ride with you all, but I'm glad that we're all here today to have this convening in the Gambia. So on behalf of Community Action Platform on Environment and Development, CAPE, which I'm the Assistant Executive Director, and we're the host for this convening in Gambia, and our partners, AGRA, here, and our founders as well. We say a very big thank you for having you all here as well. I warmly welcome you to the Gambia for the YEFA program, which is the Youth Entrepreneurship Forum. Over the next 2 days, we will collaborate to strengthen youth voices and solutions in food systems and climate resilience, ensuring our ideas and commitments feed into continental platforms like the Agri-Food, Africa Food Systems Forum, the Africa Climate Summit, and COP30 in Brazil. Before we proceed, I would like to outline our workshop norms to keep this convening productive. Please be punctual, which we have always mentioned in our group chats, for every session to ensure that every session is smooth and coordinated well. Engage actively. This platform belongs to all of us. Feel welcomed, feel youthful, make the room lively as well. Please don't be shy, you can always ask for help. And please ask questions, say your mind, respect each other's perspectives, as our diversity is our strength. And I thank you all for being here. And I love how it's so mixed and inclusive. And I think I have only that to tell you all. Thank you very much. I'll be here in the background, and I will leave my colleague Gifty to have you throughout the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Please, we all took breakfast, right? Right? So we're going to do the clap again. Unless we want to introduce another clap. Do we want to introduce another clap? Okay. Who is going to help us with that? Lean. The one you do this way. Okay. So the clap you gave Fatu is for yourself, for eating breakfast. So we are now coming to give her her own clap, and then Lynn will help us with that. But while we wait for Lynn to teach us a new clap, we're going to have a next welcome address from the Ministry of Agriculture, and then she's in the person of, I'm sorry if I don't mention the name right, but I'll try. By the end of the day, I'll get your name right, okay? So it's Madame Papabaji, right? So she's going to give us the welcome remarks. She's from the Ministry of Agriculture for Gambia, and then she's going to do that. Lynn. So right after Lynn is done teaching us the new clap, then we have her coming. So yeah. Please, Lynn said you have to stand to see the energy in the room. Please, let's all be on our feet. Yeah. So Lynn, over to you.
Okay. Can you see me? I know I'm short, so bear with me, okay? So the clap goes 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and stop, stop, stop. Okay? Okay, can we try? 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3. And then a bit of attitude. Just a little bit of attitude, okay?
Let's add the flex.
Let's go again. 1, 2, 3, go. There we go.
So that one was for you to experiment your arms. So now let's do it for Fatu. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Now let's welcome our Madam Papi Baji from the Ministry of Agriculture to give us an open remark. So please let's have a seat while she takes the podium. Thank you.
Master of ceremony, delegates from the different countries, that is the Anglophone and then the Francophone countries, development partners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the press, members of the press union here present, I bring you warm greetings and best wishes from my Minister of Agriculture, that is Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Food Security. He gave me this assurance to relate to you that be rest assured, and then he welcomes all of you to the Gambia. His ministry recognizes and values your immense contribution in the fight against food and nutrition insecurity and the vicious cycle of intergenerational poverty that has so far too many long plugging our populations in West Africa. I am delighted to represent both the Department of Agriculture and the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Food Security in this historic and groundbreaking event. On behalf of the Department of Agriculture, I wish to commend and thank organizers and sponsors of this convergence for your unwavering commitment to the youths and the people of West Africa, which is clearly manifested in the work you do. Master of ceremony, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in the Gambia in particular and across West Africa in general, agricultural sector remains a vital pillar of the economic, yet smallholder farmers have long struggled with various challenges stemming from factors such as poverty, land degradation, low levels of mechanization, low production and productivity that are with fragmented markets, unstable prices and shifting demand amidst a growing population. The Gambia, like most countries in the sub-region, has a youthful population. However, over the decades, the Gambia in particular and West Africa in general has seen a phase of rising cases of youth unemployment, which is more pronounced in urban areas. Studies have shown that the key drivers of problems of youth unemployment, particularly in urban areas, include job-skill mismatch and the influx of rural youth in urban centers through rural-urban migration, which has increased the supply of labor. Meanwhile, there are limited formal employment opportunities to absorb this increase in labor force. Furthermore, the Gambia has also experienced a wave of undocumented youth migration to Europe through the Mediterranean high seas. To curb the incidence of unemployment and the endemic bagway syndrome in the Gambia and West Africa at large, agripreneurship has been identified as a major pathway to increase employment among rural youth, thereby decreasing the incidence of rural-urban migration of youths and its spillover effects. This is due to the employment potentials of agricultural sector, and it employs nearly 80% of our population. To this end, several studies in different countries have examined the willingness of youths to participate in agricultural training programs, pursue agriculture in schools, or pursue agribusiness, activities, as well as drivers of youth participation in agriculture and agribusiness. The Department of Agriculture, under the Ministry of Agriculture, fully realized the potentials of youths in attaining food security of the country. It also understands some of the multiple constraints youths are facing to be fully involved and maximize their agricultural production. And as a result of that, the number of agricultural projects that are in the Gambia are engaging the youths a lot. And some of these projects include the Roads Project, 2P2RS, GAPSI, the Giraffe Project, which are currently being implemented in the Gambia, with a strong youth component. The design of the projects took into consideration youth involvement to enhance food security. All these projects have matching grant components that allow the youths to apply any kind of agricultural activity they want to go in for, and they are supported financially. Their capacities are also built, and then follow-ups are also made to subsequent activities within the framework of the activity that they requested for. Agriculture can also be an avenue for income generation, poverty reduction, and improvement in food and nutrition security for this group of population, which plays a very significant role in every country. That is the youth. Thus, agriculture is a pathway of youth empowerment. Therefore, making the agricultural sector attractive and lucrative implies achieving the first, second, and the eighth SDGs of no poverty, zero hunger, and decent work and economic growth, respectively. Creating employment opportunities for youth is key to achieving sustainable development in Africa. The growing number of youth, who are estimated to account for 60% of the population, brings both challenges and opportunities to the continent. The youth offer huge potentials in terms of transforming economics, give their capacity and interest in innovation and technologies for improved livelihoods. Youths are drivers and users of innovation, and that pay due attention to the aspirations of youth who have huge potentials to create, employment opportunities that would go a long way to change their life, to make an impact in their lives. Therefore, the theme for this convergence, that is feeding the future, the youth-led solutions for resilient and inclusive food system, is timely, and it came at the appropriate moment. With the framework of the National Development Plan and other regional and global development food blueprints, a lot of efforts have been made to transform the Gambia's agri-food system to make them more inclusive, more resilient, and more productive, sustainable, leaving no one behind. The government of the Gambia recognizes the critical role of youths in agriculture, with the support of development partners, including the World Bank, IFAD, IDB, and the UN systems and other NGOs in the Gambia. Has also stepped up efforts that are aimed at promoting the proactive and full participation in market-oriented agriculture. Over the years, hundreds of youths have benefited from hands-on training, matching grants, and other initiatives to entice them to take up agriculture as a source of livelihood, jobs, and also wealth creation. Because at the end of the day, whatever they venture into, income is generated that would help to change their, livelihood. Furthermore, the government and its development partners are empowering the youth entrepreneurs by enhancing youth access, credit facilities, and capacity building, and support for youth agripreneurs who are starting their ventures to ease off the various socio-economic hardship they face, particularly at the inception of the agripreneurship careers. Government has initiated developmental funds and grants that are targeting the youth entrepreneurs across the agricultural value chain in various agricultural projects. And the agricultural, development, as I said, is looking at the youth, the involvement of the youth between the ages of 15 to 35. And that shows that, the agricultural sector is really doing a lot to embrace the youth because they will be the future leaders of tomorrow. In this era of unpredictable climate, we must empower and equip our youths to lead the transformation of food systems. Feeding the future emphasizes the critical role of youths in building resilient and inclusive food systems. The youth engagement is vital for transforming agri-food systems. I wish to take this opportunity to call on Gambian youths to make good use of the opportunities that are given to them by the government in order to contribute effectively towards the achievement of the Agenda 2030. As we march forward in pursuit of more climate resilient and sustainable future, it is imperative that we listen, we invest, and then we move forward to develop our youth. Agricultural sector feeds the continent, and every one of you know that. It is always the backbone of every African country, and without agriculture, it would be very difficult for us to feed our populace. Despite their ambition and seeing agriculture as a vehicle for change, many young people are challenged with limited agricultural access to resources, lack of financing, and bureaucratic hurdles that continues to affect their potentials. That is why the government of the Gambia is working tirelessly to make sure that there are funds that are available to help boost the potentials of the youths so that they can also contribute to the development of the country. Therefore, the role that AGRA and its partners are doing to support the youth are in the right direction. Young people venturing in the agricultural areas and supported by projects also do very well because there is always a benchmark that you have to get to, or if not, the funds are restricted and given to other beneficiaries who can be able to make impact. Additionally, the Ministry of Agriculture is conscious of gender-inclusive policies that ensure the marginalized groups, especially the young women, also have access to those opportunities. They are not left behind. Not only the guys are considered, but the women also, their development also is considered. Finally, Africa's food security, economic growth, and climate resilience depends on the success of the youths today. I urge the private sectors and international organizations to help empower and try to transform our food system. In doing so, we have to help the youths to come up with initiatives, innovations to help us move forward. Before I conclude, my remarks, I would want to every one of you, especially the international, delegates, to feel at home and then enjoy the Gambia, the smiling coast of the Gambia, explore and then try to view all the sceneries that are within the Gambia so that you have something to take home. I guess you would really enjoy your stay in the Gambia. And finally, I would want to declare this forum officially open. Thank you.
Now, that clap was for you again. So let's give her the clap that we all learned this morning. Can we together? Let's go. Oh, No, that one is for those at home. So let's do it again so that even the buildings or the foundations of the conference room can hear the clap. So let's go again. Thank you so much, Madam, for that very warm welcome remarks. And I think she said that the Gambia is creating the pathway to have young people involved in the agribusiness. And then it also has to do with empowerment and then creating jobs to absorb the unemployed young people in the sector. So for them, they believe that the agribusiness is the future for the country. And I believe that all of us in this room perfectly agree with that. Do we or do we not? But again, I want to remind you about my question. Where does the conversation of food security start from? And where does it end? Is it just about the jobs? Is it just about the food on our table? Does it even start with soil fertility, to the seedlings, to the nurturing period? Pardon?
It starts from access to land.
Access to land, well, that is someone's perspective. So then where do we start the conversation from? It is what we have to look at. And then as we are gathered here, what is our commitment to achieve the perfect, I'm using perfect because to achieve, please can you hear me?
Press it again. No.
Hello? Hello? Okay. To achieve the perfect, in quotes, agri-sector that we all want to see. That speaks to the future now for us. Are we all on the same page? So please, how many of us have heard about YEFA? Hey, what is happening? How many of us in this room have heard about YEFA? Oh, I'm not pronouncing it well. Is it my accent? Oh, tell me now. It's a dialogue session, oh. Yes, you have. Okay, it's just one person. Fatu, I think at this point, how many of us have heard about YEFA? No, your hand is not part. So if you've heard about it, what does it stand for? Those who raise their hands. Moses.
YEFA stands for youth and implementation for future food and agriculture.
Okay, that is Moses' perspective. Me, I don't know. So, for the next thing on the agenda, we are going to have, just a minute, quite sorry about that. So we are going to have Dr. Jeremiah Rojito from AGRA to tell us about the YEFA program. So for the likes of you and I, who have decided not to hear about YEFA, he's going to teach us, and I'll come back. I said this is a dialogue session, though, so nobody is free. It means we all have to pay attention. I will come back and randomly point at someone to tell us what we have heard from his presentation. So please, with an applaud, help me welcome Dr. Jeremiah to give us a brief about YEFA.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, normally I say that when I hope it's working, right? Yeah, normally I say when I greet people, my expectation is that they will respond. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Yeah, thank you so much, our chief guest, for officially opening our meeting this morning so we can be able to proceed unhindered. Yeah, you were right that the YEFA program stands for the Youth Entrepreneurship for the Future of Food and Agriculture. And I'm hoping that my notes can come up because I don't know anything outside my notes, so I want to stick within my PowerPoint presentation. But as that happened, we just want to appreciate the hospitality that we received so far from the people of Gambia. And we are absolutely grateful to be part of this convening and having this regional convening right here in the Gambia.
I don't know why, so just, you have it here, so just go ahead. Is it possible to go ahead? Sorry, I didn't realize about that. Is it possible to go ahead?
Can I send it to
Petrolina.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell her to check. She's not gotten it, so just resend.
I just sent it, so it should be there now. Where does it come?
So let me just tell them to. What will I even tell them to do now while they are trying to sort this out? It's gone, right?
Yeah, it's gone.
So she has it now.
Okay. It's heavily visual, yes.
Honey?
It's heavily visual, so.
Okay. Thank you so much for your patience. Now, can we have your attention? So you see the fine gentleman there. Now he has the floor. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. So I think we'll move to the third slide. Just skip that, move to the next one. Yeah, I mean, AGRA as an institution, maybe the next slide. I don't know if any one of you knows anyone in this picture. Which of the two gentlemen do you know? Kofi Annan, okay, and this other one? Anyone who knows him? Do you think he's a popular person? Looks like? All right. So on the slide, we have two people. We have one Kofi Annan, and we have Professor Joachim von Braun, who I consider to be one of the foundational professors that exist today on issues around agriculture. He lectures in a university in Europe. And he served as a board member for AGRA for quite some time. And while he was leaving, I think it's last year, he was given an opportunity to come and address members of staff for the office. And in his statement, he said that it's important for us as an institution and employees who work for the institution now to go back to our foundation where we actually started. And I remember him taking us back on the vision that Kofi Annan had when he founded AGRA in 2006. In 2006, when Kofi Annan was founding AGRA, just leaving the UN at that time as UN Secretary General, he said that our mission is in response to a call from former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, who said the time has come for African farmers to achieve something we call a uniquely African green revolution. And we'll see how this has been able to transform over the period of time. Move to the next slide. And I mean, I have a professor who usually says that for you to appear to be educated, you need to have very complicated slides. So this is what my complicated slide here. And the thing I want to communicate here twofold. One is that as an institution, we focus on 4 key areas. One is strengthening the seed systems in Africa by hosting the Center of Excellence on seed systems in Africa. We abbreviate as CESA. The other area that we heavily intervene in is working very closely with governments, so building their policy and state capability. The other area that we work very strongly is on issues around inclusive markets, finance, and trade. But also, personally, I work within the climate adaptation, sustainable agriculture, and resilience. So really building the climate adaptation and resilience component of various governments across the continent. On this side, you'll see our vision over the next 5 years is to be able to invest a total of $550 million US. And last year, as I was traveling across all the Agri-African countries, one of the things that I kept saying over and over again is that out of the $550 million that we anticipate to spend over the next 5 years, $350 million is for the YEFA initiative, the Youth Entrepreneurship for the Future of Food and Agriculture. And one thing that I kept saying over and over again is that last year, for an institution that started in 2006, by last year it was achieving the age of 18 years. So in many African countries, someone who is 18 is officially considered to be a youth. So when AGRA attained the age of a youth, the institution decided to focus and invest heavily on youth and agriculture across the African continent. Next slide, please. And so we deliver this through a number of models. And next slide, please. And particularly within the Climate Adaptation and Sustainable Agriculture Unit, we do this through 4 key pathways. One is to ensure that the farmers and anyone who needs this information actually accesses it. That's last mile delivery. The other one is really enhancing the resilience through early warning systems and various other models to ensure that you get information and in good time to be able to strengthen your resilience. But also ensuring that we're able to rehabilitate our soils by strengthening the soil health and fertilizer systems across the continent. but also really contributing to climate stewardship and thought leadership across the African continent. Next slide. You know, out of every 3 young people who graduate in Africa, out of every 3 young people that you see, 1 of them is unemployed. And out of every 3 young people you see across the African continent, 1 is unemployed and the other is vulnerably employed. And by 2030, it's estimated that the population of young people is going to constitute up to 42%. And I mean, I'm named after a prophet. That doesn't mean that I'm a prophet. But if we see what is happening across various countries across the African continent, my own country being an example, if nothing is really done to be able to address this challenge of youth unemployment, then it's going to be really detrimental to the African continent, something that actually should have been a blessing to us. Next slide, please. So we have more than 10 million young people who are currently entering the African labor market. But they only compete for a meager 3 million new jobs that are being created across the African continent. And therefore, something really substantially needs to be done. But you see more than 25% of these youth who are entering the job market lack really basic literacy, but they're also hampered with a lot of other challenges that they experience. So it's out of this realization that we have more than 10 million youths who are entering the labor market, and the labor market is only contributing 3 million jobs, so we have a deficit of 7 million jobs each year. It's out of this realization that we created the Youth Entrepreneurship for the Future of Food and Agriculture. Next slide, please, which is a partnership between the MasterCard Foundation and AGRA, implemented across different countries. And it has various components. We have the country component pillars, focusing particularly in 7 countries. But we also have a continental pillar that cuts across the African continent. Next slide, please. So, there is a famous person who lived in this earth in the Middle East, and whenever he met people, he always asked them 2 questions. What do you see, and what do you hear? So I want you to look at this picture keenly, the picture before. Yes. And the question is, what do you see? Yeah.
I see you.
Okay, she insists that she sees me. Okay. Anyone else, what do you see? So I'm assuming that all of us in this particular room have eyes, and they can be able to speak. The question is simple. What do you see? Yes?
I see hope.
You see hope. Yeah, that is reading too much into the picture. Because things that you see, you don't need to dig deeply. It has to be something physical, but good that you see hope. Anything else? Anyone, what do you see? Yes?
I see 3 kids with an adult and a bicycle.
Yeah, please leave a few others for others to respond to the other things that they see. But I agree with you entirely that at least he can be able to see 3 kids and he can see a bicycle. All right, what else do you see? Yes?
I see a young man without shoes. Good.
That's right. There is a young man without shoes. What else do you see? You see? Yeah, so he sees something that looks like a rural community, right? Yes, what else do you see?
I see an untarred road.
You see?
An untarred road.
Yeah, so he sees a road that I'm assuming you're saying that is untarmacked, so it's something like a Maram road, okay? What else do you see?
Looks like you.
All right. That's what he sees. Now let's interpret the picture. So where do you think this picture was taken? Uh-huh.
I see caring.
You see?
Caring. Connection.
Okay. Yeah. So let us interpret the picture now. So where do you think this picture was taken? In a rural area. In which country in Africa? How many believe that this picture was taken in Kenya? By show of hands. Okay. How many believe that this picture was taken in a different country other than Kenya? So majority are not sure. Okay. So do you think that this area is a high relief area? Does it receive a lot of rain, or it does receive, or is that dry area? What do you think? A lot of rain, okay. Anyone else who thinks to the contrary? How many believe that this area receives a lot of rain? How many believe that this is a dry land? Okay. What do you think is missing in this picture? Uh-huh. Yeah, I think there's a girl here, but I hear what you are saying. So most likely these 3 children didn't drop from the air, so they must have come from somewhere. So there is missing a woman. Anything else that is missing in this picture? Uh-huh.
It seems like the other 2 kids have had, and the other one is standing and they should no soup. But the other 2 look like they were 2 kids.
So I'm not getting you clearly. We are saying that the 2 kids look like
They're having shoes.
they're having shoes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and the other one is not, and the other boy is standing there.
Okay, that's true. The one boy who is standing has no shoes, but the other 2 have shoes. Why do you think that is happening this way?
Sorry?
Why do you think it's happening in that manner? Why is it that we have 2 who have shoes and 1 who doesn't?
Yeah, just like what is explained here, it's like all the youths are employed and others are not employed. So it seems like it's not balanced. The other 2 kids, what they have and the other one that is standing just next to them is not happening. So it's like the equity is not there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. I think there's another comment there as well.
For me, I think the 2 kids that are in bicycle are going to school. I think we take to school. The other one is a farm. So, in different forms.
Okay. So in your understanding that the tall man in a blue shirt is the father to the 2 or 3 children?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But my understanding is those 2 kids on the bicycle are more privileged than the one just standing closer. Looking at the way they dress and the smile on their faces shows that they are happier than the one standing beside the bicycle. Doesn't look happy.
Okay.
It's a privilege.
All right. So do you think that the gentleman here is their father?
No, I don't think. Maybe to the other 2, but this one, I don't think so.
Okay. How many agree with the thoughts that the gentleman is the father to only the 2 children?
We I look at it as, hello, good morning. I look at it as the father is the father of both of them, but it seems like the inequity is appearing here. They are not equally treated. Might be that all girls are with their mother and father, and the other one is not with the mother in the family. Might be look like that. Anyway, what I have seen that they are not equally treated. But
Okay.
the father is the same, is the father of both of them.
For all the 3 of them?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Last one?
Yes, a very well put. It could be that the father and his 2 children were going somewhere, and then they just happened to meet this person on the road. So then they decided to pose for a picture just as the photographer is around.
All right. Yeah. So let's take that as the last one. Indeed, the gentleman standing here with a red shirt, that is me. So you can trust I can give an accurate analysis of what is happening in this picture more than anyone else in this room, right? Yeah. And I want to confirm that those who agree that this photo was taken in Kenya, that's correct. I want to agree with those that claim that this picture is taken in a high relief area, that is correct, because this picture is taken in the western part of Kenya, a place where we predominantly grow maize, so that's correct. But anyone who claims that that is my father, that is wrong. And anyone who claims that the two children are the children of this gentleman, that is also wrong. And those two children are also not my brothers. They are not even my relatives. And they are not going to school. The point really I wanted to drive is that when we vision the youth entrepreneurship for the future of food and agriculture, and I've asked this picture, same picture, in more than 15 African countries when you are doing the various convenings. And every country, they have their own perspective, their own thoughts on what is happening in this picture. And one of the things that the program YEF has done is to ensure that in whatever we do, there is a heavy component of youth intentionality because it's a youth program. So one area that is very critical to this program is something we call the youth voice. Because I can sit in my office in Nairobi, 4th floor, Western Towers, and come up with suggestions, initiatives on how to drive up these youth-led solutions for resilient and inclusive food systems. But it can never be youth-led solution if we don't listen to the people that are affected by it themselves. And so a very strong component of this particular program is a youth voice. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah, I think we can keep going. Since time is fast spent, I just want to get to somewhere where we have a map. Right. And when you look at the map of Africa, you see different colors. What colors do you see? There's green, there's brown, and there's blue. So what does blue stand for? Blue stands for water, that's right. Green? Huh? Arable land. Brown? Yeah, I'm really keen on seeing very brown forest. I'm looking forward to a moment when we'll have brown forests. Yeah, but when you look at the map of Africa, and it's interesting, I used to think this is a statistic, because there is a statistic that says 60% of unutilized land is in Africa. And the more I travel across Africa and across the world, then you see the challenge we have in terms of land utilization. Because when you travel really across the West, anywhere you travel, large fields, you'll see it completely utilized. When you travel across Africa, and especially if you fly above, and those for the regional delegates who manage to travel, immediately you leave the airport. In most airports, what you will see, you'll start flying by start seeing water. And as you move a distance a bit, then you begin seeing a lot of really bare land. Yet we say there's a big challenge of youth unemployment, which I think there's an opportunity for us to utilize the vast land. Next slide, please. So as a result of this, one of the things that we've done within the YEFA program to really strengthen the youth voice, we'll go to the slide that has flags, is to ensure that, as I rightly said, that the issue of youth voice becomes therefore very critical to listen to the youth themselves, and we've been endeavored to do this by listening to their voices and ensuring that we're able to champion these voices to be able to lead to youth-led solutions for inclusive food systems. There should be a slide that has flags. Next. Yes, so I want you to help me interpreting these flags. Is there anyone who sees a flag of their country? Yes? Yeah, just shout the country that you see. Nigeria? Kenya? Ghana? Uganda, Togo? Ivory Coast, Uganda, right? Yeah, so one of the things that we did last year is to really ensure that we meet a number of young people across the African continent, listen to their voices, which led to something we call the Kigali Youth Declaration on Food Systems and Climate. And this, I really challenge you to ensure that you have hold a copy of this document that really summarizes all the asks that the various youth from across the various countries were able to raise. And we spent the last couple of, since last year when we met in Kigali, over the last 1 year, we've endeavored to ensure that we have programs, initiatives that really speak to that particular declaration. A number of things were mentioned in that declaration, and one of them that still needs a stronger focus, stronger emphasis of issues around youth voice. Next slide, please. Next slide. So this year, this is this convening that we are having here is part of what appears on your screen. Okay. So where are we on this screen? Right at the center, right? On the extreme end, we had a meeting last week in Rwanda that brought together a number of young people from the East African region. Right at the center here, we have young people from the West African region. Right at the bottom here, in a month's time, we'll have young people from the Southern African region. And collating all these voices, looking forward in a month's time as we meet again in Kigali to review the progress that we made so far and see what areas that needs stronger and closer interconnection. I've said many things, but I want to go to the next slide, to the slide that has Bakadaji. So why are we here today? So we recognize that these events are critical to be able to discuss policy actions for youth and empowerment in agriculture. We also agree, as I rightly mentioned, you can look at a picture and deduce so many things which are not, in some cases, not very accurate, and therefore it's important to listen to the youth perspective itself. But also it's important to really leverage on the major events. I see a lot of typos here, which I thought I corrected, but still exist. But really ensure that we have peer-to-peer learning, and as my professor always used to say, that externalities are also allowed. Perhaps in the course of this convening, you might meet your next business partner or whatever else that happens. But I want to finish by a famous statement that was mentioned in the US a couple of years back by JF Kennedy. And one time speaking, he says that if not you, when we think about feeding the future, and I'm reading that particular banner right behind there, when you think about feeding the future, youth-led solutions for resilient and inclusive food systems, if not you who are in this room, then who are going to drive this? And if that cannot happen now, when most of you are still in the category of youth with all this energy, then when is that going to happen? I think one other question that John F. Kennedy asked is, if not here in the Gambia, in Ghana, in Nigeria, or whichever country you come from, then where do you want to do this? Is it in Mars? Is it in Pluto? So really, as we start on this first day, I really want to challenge us to see ourselves as those who are able to drive this transformation, to lead this transformation, both from the discussions that we're going to have here, but also from what we're going to implement as we get out of this place. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jeremiah. Please, the clap, let's have it again. It means that we are partially paying attention, so let's have it again. Now I have the full attention. Thank you so much, Dr. Jeremiah. I think the last question he left us with is, if not what? Who remembers the question? Don't project it all.
If not us, who?
Uh-huh.
If not now,
If not now, and then what about the last part? He said it when he was explaining. Yes, where? So then, on that note, I would just want to ask a very quick question, like randomly. When we say youth and agriculture, what comes to mind? Based on what he has shared, youth and agriculture, what comes to mind?
Innovation.
Innovation, yes. Pardon? Development, okay. Yeah. Sustainability. Any other? Yes, sir. Pardon? Inclusion. Okay. Any other? Technology. We are in the world of AI. Any other? Okay. But again, so this is where my question that I asked early on came in. Where does the conversation start from? We are going to set the tone. We are going to start the conversation now. I don't want us to finish and say that, oh, we just had another dialogue and then there's no action. So the mic is here. You raise your hand and then I come to you. Where does the conversation start from? Youth and agribusiness, youth and agriculture, where do we start the conversation from? I know some names, so in fact, you can even whisper some of the names to me. I'll mention it. We've had ample time to think about this. So please, Lucky Abeng, the mic is yours.
Thank you. My name is Lucky Abeng from Nigeria. I think the conversation should start from the policy level, where the policies are being drafted. It's high time to move from advocacy to being part of the core implementation process, where implementation starts with drafting usage policies. We have seen the implementation and there are concerns around finance, there's a 5 million to raise 550 million. But young people would only understand this if they are part of the framework that will design how this money will be raised and how the money will be disbursed. So I think policy level will be very conversation people here discussing this.
Okay. Okay, next person.
I'm Benjamin Lankaka from Nigeria. So I also want to follow up on the point you made regarding policy. I believe that it is time we move beyond advocacy and start policy making, or rather, begin to push for laws that will hold the leadership accountable. So if we have the policy, we have the law, then we can ask the leadership, why aren't we implementing? Why isn't it working? Thank you.
Okay. Any other? Jackson raised his hand. Yeah.
Good morning. I have a different view. I think it all starts with access.
Access to what?
Access to land.
Pardon?
Access to land. Farmland.
Okay.
Yes.
Why access to farmland?
If we say grow what you eat and eat what you grow, you can only do that and make that possible if you have access to land. And access to land has been one of the biggest things that are impeding, especially young people, from venturing into agriculture. Prominent among them are young people in the Gambia, even though some of them have been given matching grants, but access to farmlands have been one of the biggest stumbling blocks, for them to be able to venture into agriculture.
Okay. Yeah, now I like the hands. I like the hands that are coming up.
Thank you. For me, I think I would say the conversation has to start at the education level. I know it may be a bit different from each country, but in the Gambia here, I feel like at the homes and in the schools, we have to build a mindset and place value on agriculture. Because growing up, we are not shown that you can have a career as a farmer. So I think that mindset needs to change, but what it involves is also seeing examples of success stories, and it doesn't have to be within our countries. That's why it's important that we are here today. We are among people who come from countries like Kenya, the home of Wangari Maathai. These are people who really have shown that there's hope in agriculture, and they've lived it. So I think we need to see more examples of that. But the conversation really needs to start with our mindsets, and that's schools and homes.
Changing the mindset. There's a hand at the back. Okay, sure.
Thank you very much, Madam. What you said is very, very right. It has to start from the mindset. And I would cite an example here in the Gambia. When it comes to, venturing into fields like agriculture, most of the youth see it as a poor man's field. That agriculture is only for the uneducated, the illiterate, and for the old, which is not the case. And for now, we've seen drastic changes when it comes to pursuing for agricultural courses in the colleges and even in the university. They are now changing the kind of mentality that they have with agriculture as a field is now changing. And when you look at the employment rate in the Gambia here, the sector employs almost about more than 60% more than any other sector. There is always a ready, position for you to go in for if one is really interested. So it has to start with the mindset. From homes going all the way to institutions, people have to know that agriculture is a business. It is not a poor man's field. And when you have that kind of thinking, that kind of mentality, definitely we would move from one level to another. Because in all countries, even in the Western countries, agriculture is the backbone for every country, because the economy, that is where the economy of every country comes from. So the thinking or the mindset of the youth have to change. And with the Ministry of Agriculture, we've now seen the youth venturing into agriculture. But as the gentleman on that other side said, with access to land is an issue. But now the youth, you have to start off something. The department or the projects don't give you the resources for you to start off. But it has to find you, in the process. You have to showcase something, and then you will be able to get those funds to be able to move from one level to another. We've witnessed that with most projects, we would give the support to the youth, and instead the monies would be diverted. They would either use it to travel to like Zimbabwe or maybe travel to Europe, when those resources are meant for you to start up a business. So now the projects have thought it wise to see you on the process, and then they will know that you are really into something, and then they will support you to move forward. So the mindset has to be there. We have to change the way we think about agriculture. Thank you.
Okay. So we need to demonstrate that we are capable. So please, we are taking just last two comments and then we move on. Dr. Jeremiah, I'm setting the context for you.
Should excuse me, my English is not too good.
Don't worry, we like it.
But I think that this problem should not be seen in a holistic manner, should be seen in context. In our parts, we are facing droughts from 30 years ago and more than that. From these droughts and all the excess we are facing, now the problem is how to go beyond rainfall agriculture. Because people are based on rainfall, and this rainfall is becoming more and more scarce. And this is the main problem we are facing. So that is now, there is the problem of the road levy, and organization is reducing also exploitable soils. You see, this is the second problem we are facing. So that is now joining insecurity, which in some parts of the country, people are no longer get access to their own lands. They can no longer farm. So these are issues that are raising, and now we should see how can this one, instead of being involved in First Army and or whatever, how they can come and exploit land and have access to this land and doing something that can generate income to them, and how to feed the population for the future. Since we are one of the more increasing population rates into our sub-region, this is now a raising issue, in our parts. Thank you.
Okay, Lynn, we are taking just last one. As much as I'm enjoying, we need to beat time also. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'd like to say it starts with us first. That is self-will. For the young people taking the state that they want to embark into agriculture and especially food production. Also, it has to also go down to the ministry, especially agriculture, or maybe the government to be precise. Oftentimes in the Gambia, when harvest time is done, mostly the headline is government didn't pay the farmers for the productions, mostly with the ground farmers. This is usually the headline. And also, what is the major question is there is land available, but unfortunately, all these land are sold for real estate and also used for other purposes, which is now killing agriculture. It has gone to a state where rainforests will be changed from rainforest or from rainforest to become habitat. Also, it has gone to a state where gazetted areas are also pushed to go into a state like to be gazetted to be used for example, like the monkey park at some state was about to be destroyed to be given just for a political reason. That's to say, to build an embassy in there. So I think it has to do with honesty, and also it has to do with following the right policies. Like for a ground that has been gazetted since 1970s, if to be changed for an embassy, then there is a policy in there, but then there is lack of honesty in implementing those policies. And also to conclude is that agriculture is really expensive. For an average person living in Africa, wherein your annual income is less than $500 in terms of your harvest, I think government needs to step in there and give right support by providing this modern implement that will encourage farm harvest and also support the farmers instead of leveraging loans on them, on which when it's time to pay the return is not available. Farmers have to purchase, or they will not have enough storage to keep their products, which leads to so many damages that at the end of the day we all depend on imported foods, like the case of the Gambia, where we have a vast land, we could grow our own rice field here and it's sustainable. But it took us like over 50 years and yet Gambia cannot produce its own rice when that is fertile. I think there should be honesty, self-will, and also effort to feed ourselves, because we can full self-sufficiency is doable, it is possible, and we can do it. But there should be.
Okay, thank you so much. It is possible. Please, we are not done with the conversation, okay? So we'll still be having it during the day, even tomorrow, until we all arrive at a policy statement to make sure that we are influencing or committing ourselves to certain priorities or advocacy points that we want to channel moving forward. And so from the discussions, few things that I picked up were land tenure systems, unless I'm wrong, honesty, the policy in place, education, the resources, and then the basic of all, the mindset we have as Africans. Because it is only when we change our mindset can we drive the change that we want. So then, if we are gathered here, are we going to change our mindset to look at things differently, other than looking at it from challenges, to looking at it as rebuilding solutions to solve the problems that we ourselves have come up with? So I'll end here and then invite some of our partners here in Gambia to just share with us brief remarks. Please, you have 5 minutes each. And after that, we would have a group photo, and then we will still continue the conversation. So please, who remembers the clap? Everybody remembers the clap. Okay, so with our clap that we have generated,